Hello and welcome to today's Rising Match Day, this Saturday the 12th of June. I'm Owain Evans, looking ahead to tonight's game for Phoenix Rising against Tacoma Defiance. Coming up on today's show, former League One MVP making his first championship team of the week. Here are the updates on midfielder Arturo Rodriguez. For the second week in a row, Rising picks up a player on loan. This time it's local boy Tate Schmitt. We get the lowdown from him. And it's a first meeting of the season with Tacoma, but what does Sounders reserve team have to offer this evening? But first, we'll take a look back to last Saturday as Rising hosted San Diego Loyal. So back home for Rising, they were facing San Diego Loyal for the second time this season. The last time the two sides met finished 4-1 to Rising. But that wasn't the story early in this game. Miguel Berry shaking off James Musa there before hammering it home past Andre Rolls in the Phoenix goal. Rising took a lot of shots in this game, but not many on target. Santimoa's 66th minute effort here, almost summing up the feeling of the evening. And shortly after, San Diego would double their advantage. Jack Blake with a thunder of a strike from outside the box, not much stopping that, and he goes to celebrate in front of the south end. While a mountain to climb for Rising by this point, they brought on Arturo Rodriguez, who hits that one. It doesn't get past the defenders but does fall to Santimoa, who scores. That's his 7th straight regular season game with a goal for the Spanish winger. Well, 6 minutes of stoppage time shown, many corners during it, and Andre Rolls could have been the hero here, his shot going just past the post. Right with the clock about to hit 96, Arturo Rodriguez standing over the ball, and Joey Calistri on the half volley through a crowd of players gets the equaliser, 90+7. So Rising 2 goals down when the clock hit 90, come out of it with a 2-2 draw. That means they remain unbeaten at home so far this season. Here's the views from after the match.
You know, when we were pressing, it was okay, but anytime they broke the press, we were in a lot of trouble. So we had to make an adjustment at halftime, and I thought it was fantastic. The players, they responded very well. They understood the tactics. And, you know, we didn't get a goal early enough, I thought. We gave up the second goal on some passive defending. And then I think you saw the Phoenix Rising heart. They refuse to lose here. They're not willing to give up. They will never stop. I told them if there's any characteristic about me, it's I'm a hard worker and I will never quit. I'll never give up on anything, and I'm so proud of them for that. But I learned a valuable lesson as a coach today, and you cannot take any opponents in this league lightly. You cannot. You can't think that it's ever going to be easy, and you have to push the boys from start to finish.
We kept our heads. You know, we knew what we needed to do, and just try and get that first goal, and we did. And then, you know, we had the crowd behind us. This is probably the best fans in the league, and they pushed us to get that second goal. You know, the guys that came on changed the dynamic. You know, Arturo came on running at guys. Shea came on running at guys, and it just put us in the best position possible to be at their end at the last 6 minutes. And we got, 3 corners, scored 1, tied the game. So we get out with a point. Obviously, we want to win at home all the time, but, you know, we'll take the point in that kind of finish.
Yeah, you know, I think that's what's so special about this team is we have so much depth, and you know, a guy like Jeremy Kelly and myself can come in and do a good job, and you know, that's a testament to the players that were brought in. So
This guy, every time I say I think we should sub him out and put Ivan Gutierrez in or Prince, he gets a goal. So maybe I'm going to say it earlier, but look, Santi is one of these guys that his heart is huge and he cares about the club so much and he wants them to be successful. He's going to be one of the last guys I would take off the field. So for him to score, I'm happy. I think that's 7 in a row now. That's great. He's just got to keep going.
So a late comeback for Rising, one of those games that feels like a win despite only picking up the single point. It also means that Landon Donovan has been denied his first 3 points of the season from the dugout. He actually missed his side's only wins so far due to suspension. One of the brighter spots for Rising last week, the performance off the bench of Arturo Rodriguez. He picked up assists on both of the goals and was named to the Championship Team of the Week.
Arturo's been fantastic, and I think what he realizes, what he's been doing every single day after training is working out in the gym. He's been eating a lot of food. He's been on a good protein diet. We're trying to put some muscle on him. We knew that when he was at League One and then when he went to RSL, that was the knock on him was his size. But he's already put on quite a bit of muscle, and I'm so happy for him because he's been working so hard, and I told him I was very proud. But we have Arturo on a contract for a long, long time, and my goal is that someday he'll be the best player in this league.
I mean, first team of the week on this club is one thing I've been waiting. I just play less than 20 minutes, and I come in to try to do what I like to do, and the team needed it. And
while Rodriguez yet to start a game for Rising, he's a former League One MVP, winning that award as part of North Texas's title run in 2019. But how's he adjusted to a squad player role here in Phoenix, where he's barely seen any time on the pitch?
I mean, sometimes it's hard, it can be physical and mentally, but I was always practice every day, practice hard, working after practice. Eventually it's gonna be better for me.
Meanwhile, a new face in a Rising shirt, Tate Schmitt joining on loan from Real Salt Lake. He's tied down for the rest of the season but is subject to recall, and here are his first thoughts on joining the team earlier this week.
When I was in the talk with possibly getting loaned out to some USL teams to get some games and to, finish out the season, my first hope was Phoenix. I was in talk with some other teams. Things fell through with, another USL team for me not to go there. And then had my agent reach out to Phoenix Rising. And then after hearing that they're interested, I was ecstatic. Very excited, to be able to play in the hometown that I grew up. Under Rick Schantz, who I, played under in the FC Tucson, my PDL days, as well as playing alongside guys like John Baccaro, who I've, grown up competing against in the college ranks, as well as playing with in PDL. Just hearing all those aspects, I felt like this would be the best fit. So, with all of those coming together and hearing they're interested, I was just, really excited.
Schmitt coming into an already crowded Rising team, but where will he fit in it? What's his best position? Here's his answer.
Grew up playing forward and attacking mid, and then the college ranks, I was attacking mid, outside mid. PDL, I was playing hold-up mid. This previous 2 years, I was playing outside back and left wing back, and then now in the past 3 months, I've been transitioning to left center back. So, it's still tough for me to say right now what my best position is, but I think all around, being able to see the field from a different aspect, different view, it just builds the relationships that you have of understanding the players and, positions next to you of what their job is and what their role is, and being able to communicate the best help them, which helping them then helps you. So I think just all around, this is just the part of my career where I just continue to develop of learning these positions and, just understanding the different roles and the different styles of plays with different teams. And I think all around, it's just continued to develop me into the player that I want to become. And, in the future, it's really up to the coach to then put me in the position and role that he thinks best suits the team. The past 3 months I've been playing the left center back role at Real Salt Lake. I have 3 roommates that I live with that are right now the back line of RSL, Andrew Brody, Justin Glad, and Aaron Herrera. So they're, just having that relationship and communicating with them and learning the position has made it very easy for me. So I think, going in, I'm very confident right now in my ability, as well as just understanding. I think Rick Schantz and the coaching staff has already done a great job in the first 2 days of just kind of, providing me the insight of, what their philosophy and what their ideas when they're trying to play. So it kind of makes it very simple. And I think it kind of best suits, the type of player that I am right now. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's just put it at that.
And of course, as a kid, Schmitt attended Desert Vista High School, just a little bit north of Rising's current stadium. He's joining up on the roster with Ryan Flood, who also hails from nearby. So what does it say about the state of the game here to have two local lads on the team?
I think it's big time. It kind of just shows the quality of players that can come out of Phoenix and the Arizona area, as well as just I would say like the foundation of development they have for players here in Arizona, the all around, from January to December, just the ability for players to be able to play soccer in the warm climate. I think it really helps. And you can see how there's so many players, me, Ryan Flood, and you got guys like Josh Drack, Brooks London. There's a list of guys, that, there is the path, and, it's very different for a lot of different players. But I think, the amount of players that the state of Arizona and especially Phoenix are developing is just a testament to what, future players can achieve and dream of.
Well, before we get on to tonight's game, let's have a look around what's been happening in the rest of the Pacific Division. We'll start in Las Vegas, where the Lights were taking on Tacoma Defiance last Saturday. Vegas in search of its first points of the season. And they struck within the first 20 minutes. Danny Crisostomo finding Cal Jennings, who tucks away to give Vegas a 1-0 lead. That's their first lead of the season. Tacoma unbeaten to this point, but a defensive miscue all but ruled out their chances of getting anything from this game. Bryce Duke tucking away for the hosts. That gives them their first points of the season. Meanwhile, at Heart Health Park, Orange County meeting Sacramento Republic. And it was a dream start for the visitors. A little bit of trickery there on that free kick, and it's just enough to catch the Sacramento backline off guard. Ronaldo Damas with the all-important touch there. And they doubled the advantage from a second set piece just into the second half. Eero Markkanen off the corner. Things would go from bad to worse for the hosts. Reduced to 10 men there, Dan Casey lashing out after a challenge, enough for Izmir Pekmic to give him his marching orders. But surprisingly, shortly after, some good news for Sacramento. Took a bone shrugging off a defender there, tucks it away, gives his side a little bit of hope. But it wasn't to be their night. Brian Olowski there, lots of space, gets into the area and just weaves around the defenders before tucking it away. 3-1 the final score in Sacramento. Well, both of those sides also featuring in midweek. We'll start with Orange County, who hosted San Diego Loyal. And Loyal again getting off to a good start. Tumi Moshubani getting on the end of a cross, giving them the lead 1-0. But as on the weekend, Loyal ultimately unable to hang on to their lead. In this case, it's Ronaldo Damas getting his second goal of the week. And again, Loyal having to settle for a share of the spoils, this one finishing 1-1. Meanwhile, Sacramento travelling to Utah to face Real Monarchs, looking to break out of their poor run of form. But if they were looking for a strong start, they weren't going to find it. Instead, Milanolowski, with a long-range strike, puts Monarchs ahead 1-0. And not long before the break, Michael Chang on the attack for the hosts. Picks out a Losky in the box who finishes from close range, and another loss for Sacramento. Not a good week for them, they fall 2-0 in Utah. Let's take a look what that means for the table. Rising still in top spot with 13 points over 6 games. LA Galaxy 2 had the week off, they remain in second. Orange County on the back of those 4 points rise up to third spot. Tacoma, despite their loss, remain in the playoff places. Sacramento dropping down into 5th. They haven't won in their last 5 matches. San Diego Loyal up to 6th with 5 points. Oakland Roots didn't play, so they're in 7th. And Light, who also played last night to a 1-1 draw against San Antonio, remain on bottom of the table, but they now have 4 points. Tonight's challenge for Rising's Tacoma Defiance, the first time they've faced off this season. But what are we expecting out of them? Here's the word from Rick and Arturo.
Tacoma's a very good team, very young, very dynamic. I think their result at Vegas was more indicative of Vegas needing a win than Tacoma playing poorly. It was just a really intense match in Vegas. But what I've watched of Tacoma, they have some really, really good attacking players, and they're going to really challenge us.
I mean, it's going to be a hard game, like every single game. But we have 3 more days to work, and we're waiting in what the staff how it's gonna prepare for this game.
Tacoma, of course, on 7 points off of 4 games. It's a rare sight to see them competing, as they're usually one of the league's poorer teams. So what's behind that change?
Well, I want to say it's the coach because he's a Portland pilot like myself. I love those guys. I've known all the guys at the Sounders for a long time. Very, very good training habits. This is a sign of an amazing academy, and what they had been doing in the last few years is playing 16, 17-year-olds, and those 16, 17-year-olds are now 18 and 19, and what you're seeing is that development of a young player over time, and they're young guys now, 19 years old, are like 4-year veterans in this league, and I think that's a big product for them that they're getting results, and they're a good team now.
Of course, a lot of young players on that Tacoma team. In fact, only one above the age of 25. That's 32-year-old Taylor Muller, a veteran of this league, 8 seasons with Charleston before joining Tacoma last year. But he hasn't featured in the matchday squad since the season's opening match. Young players, lots of chop and change. That's just part and parcel of being an MLS second team. But how difficult is that for the players? Arturo Rodriguez was part of FC Dallas's reserve side North Texas, and here's how he described the difference.
I can say it's a really good change. I mean, over there in the second team we have really young players, good players, and sometimes when the players from the first team, they don't get minutes, they go down, and sometimes they take your spot because they had to play, you know. And here is really different because you work for you get your spot, and no one is gonna take him from down or whatever up, you know.
And finally, it's looking to be a scorcher tonight, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit at kickoff. But what kind of an advantage does that afford Rising over a side from the Pacific Northwest? Here's Rick Schantz's take.
Well, I could have said the same thing last week about San Diego, and it didn't hurt them too much. I think what we have to realize is that we have so many new players. They've never played through a summer here that we have to get them to acclimatize, get used to this a little bit, and then make sure that we are the ones that take advantage of it. I just spoke to the guys before the training today that the next 6 weeks for us will be difficult because we'll be playing in it every day. But the following 6 weeks, when it's really miserable here, we're going to kill everybody.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Tonight's game, a 7:30 p.m. kickoff at Wild Horse Pass. Enjoy the match. Goodbye.